There's this channel called Soft White Underbelly who did an interview with a flat earther, and I want to listen and see like what this flat earther has to say.
What if it's true? I mean, what if? And so I started investigating it, and then it was, yeah, like basically no brainer.
And,
like,
you're convinced the Earth is flat?
Oh, 100%.
Really?
100%. No doubt whatsoever.
All right. So
yeah, 100%.
Where do we start with this?
I'm not that confident in literally anything.
I mean, planets are round. You look at all the planets, the other planets.
Well, planet, the term planet actually means moving star. That's where we came up with the term planet. So
okay, I don't trust anything out of this guy's mouth because it sounds like he knows how to be misled like an expert. But so what?
But we are, and I definitely don't think we are a planet. We are a plane of existence. So when you say planet, like in the old times, or hundreds of years ago and thousands of years ago, they've always said planets were those stars that move. So there's 7, 8, 9. I think there are 9 now, but anyway.
There are 8. And okay.
Jupiter, Saturn, all that. And
those are planets. No, the guy seems nice enough. Like, I don't want to rag on him or anything. He seems like a super nice guy, just a sucker is all. I just like, I have trouble getting past these ridiculous, insane views.
By the way, guys, check out my new shop, owenmorgan.com/shop. I have a bunch of really cool designs on there.
But to our eyes, they look just like all the other stars. They just happen to be the ones that move. So that's where we came up with that term planet.
But Saturn, Mars,
stars move too.
Mars, Pluto, they're all the enormous mass and the gravity that's involved.
That's what our science tells us.
Has made them round.
Right. Our science says that they're round. Okay, so let me say it like this. Conceptually, they're a ball, but to our eyes, they're just a circle. It's just like the sun and the moon. I believe they're all the same. And I definitely don't think that those planets, those moving stars that we're talking about, Jupiter, Mars, Saturn, etc., they all have their own lights. They all have their own energy. They're not reflecting the sun's light. Just like I don't believe the moon's light is not the sun's light. A lot of people think that, but just because science taught you that. But
so that's not why people think that. Not because science taught us that. It's because we did the math. I mean, you know that there are mirrors on the moon that you can point a laser at and get a shining signal back at these like little stations. That's how the Americans proved to the Soviets during the Cold War that we went there.
It's the light of the moon comes from
its own light. Yeah, it's its own light.
It's internal.
It's whatever. We don't know where it. I don't know. That's what I would like to investigate. Those are the types of questions I'd really like to look into.
But you guys aren't letting us.
But there are times of the night where half the moon is dark, for example.
Exactly. Well, there's
a LED program that makes it turn on the certain parts of the moon.
Exactly. I'd like to. Yeah. Let's start with the moon then. Right there. It's
It says exactly.
This is some of the things about the moon that are really fascinating. And to show you that they're not reflecting the sun's light is for about 3 weeks every month. So 75% of the time you can look up in the sky during the day and see the moon up there with the sun at the same time. It's never full when it's up.
That's not true. I believe that there are full moons in the, hang on, let me just see. Is there ever a full moon during the day? Oh, I'm asking science. Can't ask science. Science is pagan, right? A full moon occurs when the moon is exactly opposite the sun in the sky, so it's directly illuminated from our point of view. This means the moon rises around sunset and sets around sunrise, so it's typically only visible at night. However, just after sunrise or just before sunset, the full moon can sometimes still be seen low on the horizon opposite the sun. So while a full moon doesn't occur in the middle of the day, since it's on the opposite side of the sky from the sun, it can be seen during daylight hours close to horizon and dawn or dusk. So there's the answer.
In the sky, when we see it during the day, never. The only time it's full is when the sun is set, and then the moon, when it's on the other side of the planet, is the only time you ever see the moon full, ever.
Okay, well, why do you think that is? Really? I mean, are you not processing this? I don't understand. What's the conspiracy here?
Okay. So in other words, you never see the moon full at the same, reflecting the sun's light ever at the same time. But you see the moon waxing and waning in whatever period, either it's waxing or waning all the time. And during that day, like say it's a quarter moon, and it's in the sky with the sun. The sun's moving, the moon's moving a little bit, everything's moving, and it never changes its perigee. If it's quarter moon, it stays a quarter moon. In other words, that's one little hint to show you that the sun is not that's not reflecting the sun. The moon is not reflecting the sun. Okay, that's one little hint. Just the simple fact that we get to see it in the sun, see it in the sky with the sun, and the sun is not affecting it through that entire day. Even if it just...
What are you talking about? I don't understand. I'm trying desperately to understand what he's talking about here. I'm trying so hard to understand the point that he's making, but I don't. He's using this as like irrefutable proof that the Earth is flat. The moon, you never see the moon as full in the sky during the day. And he's just like, take that, globetards. I don't understand. What point is he making? Am I the idiot?
It happens every once in a while, but it happens every freaking day that it's up there, that we see them together. That's the way it is. It never changes. So if whatever the moon is, that's what it stays through that whole day and into the night. And then you can also...
I mean, that's because of how the Earth and the moon rotate around each other, of course. Jesus, dude.
But at nighttime, when the moon is full, you can pull out a thermometer and put it out in the light of the moon, right? And let's say, as an example, the thermometer reads 70 degrees in the full moonlight. If I put it in the shade of the moonlight, it actually gets warmer. And I pull it out, it gets colder again. So the moon's light is cold. It's not hot, so it's not reflecting the sun. It has nothing to do with the sun. That's what I mean by it's own light.
All right, here's the myth. Some people claim moonlight is cooling and will make a thermometer read lower than if it were in the shade. This idea has been popular in pseudoscience and folklore, but it's not supported by physics. That is not true. Moonlight is just reflected sunlight, very faint, only about 1/400,000th the brightness of direct sunlight, but it's not intense enough to heat or cool anything significantly. If you place one thermometer in direct moonlight and another in the shade at night, you might get a slightly lower reading in the moonlight, but that's not because moonlight cools things. It's because the shaded area may retain a bit more heat from nearby surfaces radiating warmth, or from the open-air thermometer, or the open-air thermometer cools faster due to radiative heat loss to the night sky. So, just delusion.
And that's a simple scientific experiment. Anybody can do it. Thermometer. I don't know if you've ever done it, but I've lived in the northern climates before, and a lot of times if I park my car under a tree, I'll come out to my windshield, to my car in the morning, and half of my windshield will be frozen and the other half won't be. It's happened many, many times, and I never...
Is he saying that the half of... Okay, wow, that's a very specific test. Is he saying that the half of his windshield that was specifically being shined on by the moon is frozen?
I really thought about it until a few years ago, and I put it all together. I'm like, wow. The reason it frosted over is because the full moon light hit that part of the windshield, and this part was underneath the tree in the shade. So,
I could pop your bubble a little bit, but I'm not going.
Okay,
No, pop the bubble.
So when you go to social gatherings, parties, whatever, do you advertise? Or do you strike up a conversation where you start talking about the Earth being flat?
Absolutely. I've been talking about basically ever since I found out the Earth was flat, I was like...
Yeah, I figure. He looks the type. Dude seems super nice, right? Seems like a really, really nice guy, but delusional as all hell.
Okay, I gotta tell everybody.
What is the typical reaction?
Usually people are, it's very divisive right off the bat.
Sure.
People are either like, what? Tell me more, or, and they walk away, like just laugh at me.
Mm-hmm.
I would absolutely want to know more. I am so fascinated by the psychosis.
And I'm not trying to convince anybody like of any one of my things that I believe or research. I'm not so much like, you gotta believe like I believe. It's more like, hey, here's just a few hints, that maybe everything's not the way we've been taught. Maybe it's not the way you think, And I feel like if I can just get my brothers and sisters to open their eyes a little bit, start looking outside the box, we can move with more freedom and more power. A lot of times
you don't have any freedom or power because you're a globetard, of course. Yes, totally. Absolutely.
I feel like that's kind of what's been being repressed is our truth. The truth of us is our power. So if we believe a lot of false things, then we're going to be going down rabbit holes that, I think that's a big part of the problem right now in our society is just the simple fact that a lot of people are believing lies, just complete deception.
You don't say. Really? You think? People believing complete lies and deception? Okay. Color me surprised.
Here's another one, just kind of jump off on the moon and the sun, for example. From our perspective, the moon and the sun are the same size from our perspective, but they tell us, science tries to tell us that we're going around the sun and the moon's going around us. It looks like, and from our experience, it looks like the sun and the moon are different. They're the exact same size. They have power. We can feel their power. Like if you believe in astrology at all, like
I don't.
Like all of our ancestors have always believed it.
No, they haven't, but okay. I hope this guy gets help in all seriousness, because it seems pretty clear as day, that he absolutely needs it. Clear as the sun, as the full moon and the sun overhead at noon simultaneously, that he needs help desperately.
They believe that the sun, the moon, and all the stars, each of the individual stars have their own power. They have their own potency that they're affecting us. So like if you're born on a particular day of the year, that's your sun sign, you're a Gemini. And then the exact day that you're born will know, okay, that's where the moon was in the sky. And then they can take a picture of the entire sky. They know exactly where all the planets were the moment you were born.
Talking about a birth chart, my sister got this done once, apparently. There is no legitimacy to learning what the stars looked like when you were born. Get help.
And that's going to impact your entire life.
I mean, do you?
But it's really not. It's the problem.
Enjoy being this controversial person at a gathering where you're like proposing these theories that are.
I put it this way, brother. Before I learned that the Earth was flat, I was not a divisive person, and at least not in the sense of. I was questioning things, but I wasn't like, yeah, definitely at a party like that example. Are
there other theories that are?
Since I found out the Earth was flat, then it unwrapped everything. Like, oh my gosh, if that's true,
was the moon landing a
complete farce? Yeah,
and
they believed that the Soviet Union was going to think that, so they put mirrors on the moon that we can shine a laser at to get a signal back to prove that we absolutely most definitely did go there. You can go to one of these observatories and look at the reading. There's no barrier to entry to do this. As far as I know, it's completely free. It's wild to me that this guy doesn't do the most basic testing or research or whatever.
9/11?
Planned, totally purposefully planned.
Oh my God, dude. He buys all of them. It's like when you buy one, you're a believer for everything.
Absolutely.
What other theories do you hold to?
I believe that
Here we go. Buckle up.
Well, 500 years ago, we found the New World. I don't believe it was the New World. This is an old world.
Well, I mean, it's equally as old as every other piece of land on the planet. So, in a sense, you're correct, I suppose.
And it's easy to figure that out. Some of the hints are when any of the Europeans got here, in the first Europeans that got here, they weren't talking about savage tribes. They were talking about huge cities. Every river they went up from the bay, they'd go up different rivers, South America, Central America, North America, and the banks would be lined with people and big, giant, beautiful cities. I believe that when...
And where did the cities go?
The Europeans got to...
No, I know the answer to that. He thinks that the cities are still here, that New York City was here all along, and that we're pretending that it, grew overnight, basically.
What they call the New World, it was already populated. And the cities were there. Like, for example, we have the same architecture in New York as you do in London.
Why the fuck do you think that is? Really? Is this not, connecting with you that it's the same because we're humans and we wanted to, design it to look similar?
Everywhere around the world, the same thing happens in New Zealand, Australia. Same kind of architecture, same buildings, these massive, beautiful cathedrals. I do some construction, and the buildings that these people built are so amazing, so gorgeous. it's the best. It's like when we go to Europe, there are castles and cathedrals, and wow, these roofs are like, huge, crazy pitches that would be hard for us at present day to put on, even with all of our equipment, with everything.
No, they wouldn't be hard for us to put on. We can build whatever. Like, we can build pitched roofs. What are you talking about? Again, super nice guy, seems to me. But what the fuck?
And yet we say, oh, these people weren't as advanced as we were.
They were not as advanced as we were. They did not have computers, for example, or whatever.
I'm contrary to that. I feel like these people were definitely more advanced. Like, for example, 500 years ago, just in English, everything got changed. We got a new calendar. We got a new Bible. So religion, time and religion, boom, changed. I think English was just coming out, like really getting popular, because or at least that's the best English we have is Shakespeare. Still our best poet 500 years ago, really.
No, he's not our best poet. He's just a very notable poet.
And yet we're still being told that we've evolved, or that we are evolving.
Do you believe that humans evolved from
apes and stuff like that? No, and I say that because
were humans just...
It's too beautiful. It's too perfect. It's too amazing. This world has to have been created. There's too many details that are perfectly in synchronization. It's perfect. You take one little molecule out and it screws everything up. Everything dies.
That's not exactly how it works, but okay.
You add one thing, poison. But the way it is, it's orderly, it's perfect, it's balanced. It always finds its own balance. It keeps coming back to itself.
Oh my God. He said it always finds its own balance. He's referring to water. These flat earthers, we got to come up with a name. They call us globe-tards. What should we call them? Flat-tards, I guess? Flat-tards? Anyway. Oh my God, dude, this is wild.
And yeah, to have something that perfect, I think it had to be created. I don't know who the creator was, who the God was, but it is very intelligently designed. And the smartest people that I know, like the scientists that are doing like physics and quantum physics, really questioning reality and really going down to things that they can't even talk about the stuff that they're doing in everyday life. Most people wouldn't even understand them. But they are all saying the same things. Like, the more we learn, the more we realize this is like, people are nowadays calling it a simulation, for example. Like,
They are? Who the fuck is they? I mean, some people think we're like in a simulation or whatever, but that's more of a thought experiment, right? Than like an actual hard, people believe this.
Too perfect. It's almost like it's a computer program or something. Wow. Yeah, so I believe that everything was taken away from us maybe 500 years ago. There might have...
This dude.
I'm just going to say some weird things. I feel like...
Oh, please say those weird things. I'm so glad to hear you're going to say those weird things.
We might have had a more beautiful civilization. Like, I'll say something really weird.
Please.
Looks like the Jesus that we celebrate for modern day Christianity. It looks like that happened more like 1,000 years ago, 1,500 years ago,
rather than 2,000. Okay.
And then there was 1,000 years of peace. That's what it looks like. As far as
it does. Why do you say it looks like that? I don't understand.
Like, when I say looks like, is the history of our ancestors, not modern day history, but if we listen to what our ancestors talk about, that's what it says. And then you just look at the architecture. Like I was mentioning that a minute ago, there's these beautiful cathedrals and roofs that are steeped and just the design of the concrete. It looks like the same people built the same things all around the world.
You mean human beings being the same people? Humans? Yeah. Holy Christ on a cracker, brother. Like, really, get help.
And in Europe, that was built 1,000 years ago. But in the New World, that was built 100 years ago. What about New Zealand? Yeah, 100 years ago. Oh, so all of Mexico's aqueducts, for example. Mexico has more aqueducts than Rome. Nothing even competed with Rome until Mexico. Well, then who did Mexico? Was it the missionaries or the conquistadors? Who did it?
I mean, we can get answers to these questions. These are not like mysterious questions that we'll never know.
When I say an aqueduct, it means like you're taking water from one place, moving it 100 or 300 miles away, and you're crossing over rivers and valleys to get there. So it's a huge, huge undertaking.
Absolutely. And it was a work of art and like a monolith when it was designed. It's absolutely 100% correct on that one. It was incredible. But it doesn't like that doesn't mean that it's impossible to do. Roman engineers and surveyors designed it, known as agrimensors or grommatici. These specialists handled planning, surveying, and construction. They used tools like chorobates for leveling and groma for straight lines. Military engineers primarily did it. Architects and state planners. There are some known contributors, but it was a big project. Vitruvius is one of them. Roman architect and engineer who wrote De Architectura, a key source on Roman construction methods. Frontinus, also 1st century CE, a Roman statesman and an engineer, and he was involved. And they did other projects as well. I mean, there are answers to this. Who did the Mexican aqueducts? Speaking of aqua, all right, so there were Aztec aqueducts, Aztec engineers, but I get the impression he's referring to modern ones because he mentioned the conquistadors, right? Or semi-modern, I suppose. Spanish colonial aqueducts. After the Spanish conquest in 1521, many new aqueducts were built across Mexico. Key contributors, friars and Spanish engineers. Or let me see if I can find an answer here. All right, the Aztec period, Nezahualcóyotl, I think maybe. I butchered the hell out of that. I apologize, sir. 1402 to 1472. He's credited with designing the original Chapultepec aqueduct, which supplied fresh spring water to Tenochtitlan, or now Mexico City. I'm just looking through here. Hernan Cortez was not a designer, but he ordered the reconstruction post 1521. Friar Francisco de Temblique, I think, maybe, is how you pronounce it. He led the construction of the aqueduct of Padre Temblique. I'm sorry, I'm butchering these names. The point is that we have names. I don't know what you're talking about. We don't have names or who did this or whatever. There are answers to these questions. I don't understand.
But that's what you see in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's put it this way, let me say it like, go back to the 1,000-year thing. In the Bible, it was predicted that there was 1,000 years of peace. And then Christ would let Satan back out of the jail or whatever you put him in.
Okay, the jar. I prefer to believe that God puts Satan in a jar. Go on.
And that's what it looks like happened. It looks like there was 1,000 years of peace all around the world now. And I'm not saying like one culture, one language necessarily, but definitely the same architecture everywhere. The same beliefs too, even though there's different languages, all of our ancestors say the same kinds of things. When I say ancestors, I'm talking about like the Mayans and Inca and, Japan.
Okay, you mean like human beings. And all right, fine. We all say the same thing. I'm not sure what you mean by that.
And China, Russia, basically anywhere around the world you go to.
Is he aware we speak different languages?
And they're going to tell you the same basic stories. There was a flood, there was a creation. There was gods coming down, the people coming down, helping people, other humans, and advancing like some demigod.
No. What are you talking about now? Dude says that every culture has a story about how aliens came to the planet to help people advance or something. I don't think that's true, but okay.
Gods maybe, or gods, but they taught them language, math, jewelry making, how to work metal, etc. That's what they all say. And then there's also a flood. They all say that.
Yeah, because things have been flooding forever. It's not like it's a rare event. Are you serious right now?
And yet nowadays scientists, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. But it's only been in the last 100 years that they're even teaching people that the world is a globe. It was a hypothesis, a theory 500 years ago.
Well, was it a hypothesis or a theory? Which one, first of all? And how long ago, secondly?
That they're even teaching people that the world is a globe. It was a hypothesis, a theory 500 years ago.
No, it wasn't. What are you smoking? That you think that it was a hypothesis 500 years ago? brother, like people did the math equations to calculate the circumference of the Earth like 2,000 years ago.
But even 100 years ago, nobody thought the world was a globe.
What are you smoking?
We're not spinning.
Two questions. What are you smoking? And can I have some?
We're told that it's been around for 500 years, and everybody knows that. Flat Earth. Really? Well, then why does the military, and even during World War II, I don't know if they have to nowadays, there's no such thing as like if you have a globe, and I want to go from one place to another on the globe, why would I use flat plane trigonometry to get there? Unless we're...
Because for all intents and purposes, flat plane trigonometry is what we need to get there. Because the Earth is so ginormagantuan. We don't need advanced 3D plane trigonometry to figure out how to get, fly from A to B, for example, unless it's like really, really, really far. And even then, it's a series of flat plane calculations to get like far enough away or whatever. This is just delusion.
On a flat plane. On a globe, navigation doesn't work. On a flat plane of existence, everything makes sense.
On a globe, it does work. We just don't need it because it appears as though it's flat because it's so goddamn fucking big. Oh my God, brother.